WRCO is pleased to team with VFW Post 2267 for playback of the Patriots' Pen and Voice of Democracy speeches from this year. We've done that every year, and it's great to play back the students that are the winners. The Patriots' Pen is for grades 6 through 8th, and the Voice of Democracy for grades 9 through 12. So today we'll feature a few of the speeches that were turned in and the place winners for the Patriots' Pen, beginning with the third place speech and its writer Nolan D. Hayes.
How are you showing patriotism and support for our country? What does a young patriot look like? As a 13-year-old middle school student, I am proud of my country and I am honored to live here. I can show my love and support for the United States of America by celebrating her holidays, learning our history, and decorating the graves of our brave men and women who have fought through multiple wars throughout the world and our country's freedom and safety. Celebrating America's holidays is an enjoyable way to show my patriotism and support for my country. There are many American holidays that are celebrated each year, including the 4th of July, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day. One of my favorite American holidays is the 4th of July because it celebrates the independence of the United States of America from Great Britain and establishing of our country. I especially love the amazingly diverse fireworks and all the events where people gather to celebrate the 4th of July. Celebrating America's holidays brings families together and is a wonderful way of showing patriotism. Learning our country's history is a splendid way to show my love and support for our beautiful country. Our history tells a lot about both of the good and the bad in our history. One of my favorite events in history is the freedom granted to the slaves after the Civil War, outlawing discrimination, and the Civil Rights Movement. The two worst events in American history, in my opinion, are the 9/11 terrorist attacks and the Charlie Kirk assassination of September 10th, 2025. Learning our country's history helps me to appreciate that history. Helping decorate the graves of our brave men and women who have served and sacrificed for our country's freedom and safety is another way to show patriotism and support for this great country. Taking care of veterans' graves will be enormously appreciated by families of veterans. Helping decorate people's graves is a show of patriotism for our country. Even though I am a 13-year-old middle school student, it does not mean I cannot show my patriotism and support for our country by celebrating holidays, learning history, and decorating veterans' graves. I can show my patriotism and support for our country.
Nolan Hayes. Congratulations to Nolan and all of his class members. They were guided by Chris Brenninger from Eagle School in Richland Center. The second place speech winner, Eli James Limix. Here is Eli Limix's speech, which again finished second place for the judges in this year's Patriots' Pen.
I am wondering, as a middle school student, how I can show patriotism and support for our country. As Ronald Reagan once said, veterans know better than anyone else the price of freedom, for they have suffered the scars of wars. My own grandpa was shot in the back during the Korean War at 19 and survived. I appreciate his bravery and sacrifice for our country. I can show my love and support for our country by writing stories and cards to encourage veterans, putting flowers and decorations on veterans' graves, and cooking meals or playing games with the veterans in the nursing homes. I can gather a group of people to make cards and stories for the veterans to thank them for fighting for our country. We can write fictional stories to make veterans laugh and smile. It would be fun to make cards that say, "I appreciate your service to our country." We can put money in the cards for the veterans. Decorating veterans' graves is a way to show patriotism and support for our country. I could put flowers next to the grave and power wash the graves if they are dirty. The next thing I could do is give money to the grave diggers to thank them for their services. Then I could spend time with their families and make some food. I could go to the nursing homes and make games and food for the people in the nursing homes. I could make homemade games and bring board games for the veterans. I could ask them what their favorite food is and prepare it for them. We could have a picnic and spend time with the veterans. As a young American, I can show patriotism and support for our country. I would enjoy making cards and stories for the veterans who sacrificed for me. It would make me proud to take care of the veterans' grave and put flowers next to the graves. It would be humbling for me to go to the nursing homes and play games and make food for veterans. I am proud to live in a country that has many patriots and has living people fighting for our country.
Eli Limix, again, the topic, how are you showing patriotism and support for our country? And now the winner, the first place speech writer, and the winner, Victor Carl Kuze. Victor Kuze, and here is his speech that again finished first place for the judges.
I show patriotism and support to my country because I not only have the freedom to speak what matters to me, but I also have the freedom of religion. I appreciate the brave men and women that are in the military and have fought for our freedom. As a student, I believe I'm showing my love and support for my country through my respect for veterans, my donations to veteran charities, and my participation in patriotic celebrations. I respect my veterans because they fought and protected the freedom and rights of Americans. Veterans are the reason why America is what it is today. I always make sure to thank veterans for their service. I always stand and sing the national anthem when it is played because it represents the people who fought to protect our freedom. Another way I show my love to my country is through my donations to veteran charities. There are charities that help veterans with getting homes and jobs, taking them to appointments, and helping them with medical care. Although I'm too young to help veterans in these ways, I'm able to donate money to help fund these charities. It makes me feel good knowing that I'm helping people that have risked their lives fighting for our freedom. I believe that attending patriotic events is a good way to show my love for our country. Every year I celebrate the 4th of July, which celebrates our independence from Great Britain. If America had not won the war, we would be ruled by Great Britain and would not have the freedom and rights we have today. Celebrating Memorial Day is another great way that I show my appreciation. Memorial Day pays respect to the soldiers that died in combat. These holidays are worthy of celebration. Even though I am young, I can still show my love and support to my country. I demonstrate this in how I treat veterans with love and gratitude. I also like to donate to veteran charities to help them get their daily necessities. I take pleasure in attending patriotic events that happen in my community. When I show patriotism and support to my country, it makes me feel good and makes my life meaningful.
That was Victor Kuze, who finished first in this year's Patriots Pen, again for grades 6 through 8 from the area, and assisted and guided by Chris Brenninger of Eagles School in Richland Center. Moving on to the high school age entries. How are you showing patriotism and support for our country? Voice of Democracy speakers, and the following three were all under the teacher guidance of Sarah Wallace at Kickapoo High School. We begin with a third place speech given to us by Kaylee M. Henderson.
How are you showing support and patriotism for our country? How can we show support and patriotism for our country? We honor the fallen military in many ways, and that those who have sacrificed their lives in the war should and do have immense respect from us citizens. Every year we love to show that respect in many ways, like Memorial Day, with memorial walls and thousands of names, American flags, and the 21-gun salute. Parades and celebrations are something that is amazing, deserved, and without a doubt a great way to show respect for those that have died and for their families. The brain doesn't fully develop until the age of 25, and yet we have men and women going into battle at just the age of 18, and then coming back unable to drink and with unimaginable emotional and physical scars that may never heal. In 2022 alone, 6,407 veterans took their own lives from the unbearable pain. The age of veterans that take their lives the most and are most vulnerable are from 18 to 34. Along with that, what have we done for those who have lost everything, including their families, because of physical injuries and mental ones, from the battles their friends didn't come back from? And how should we be helping? Volunteering and donating is a big way to help the vets of our country in need of help. By having free food for them, they don't starve on the streets, and by having warm places for them to sleep, they don't freeze. Even by having supplies for them like sleeping bags, clothes, and a place for them in our hearts. The smallest things can mean so much for them in ways we could never imagine. Doing these things is showing the support our country needs from its citizens, like celebrating the 4th of July, showing pride for our country. The 4th of July is a special day for everyone. It is a time when friends and family can come together and celebrate the freedom of our country by lighting up the night sky with gratitude to those who are the reason we're free. Big booms and bright colors are a fun and easy option to show support for our country and show that we are here to give them the support they need. I love spending the night with friends and family, watching the fireworks, running around the yard with sparklers, making shapes with them in the air, and my favorite part, at the end of the night, we all sit around a campfire and share the 3 things we are most grateful for this year. Something I'm always grateful for is the right to vote for my government. Voting is very important and is a very important event in many people's lives. It is a way for them to have their voices heard. For many years, I have seen the emotional impact that voting can have on people, whether it be my mom ranting about something that happened on the news, or after putting in her vote, waiting to see what the outcome is. Protests and riots break out because of what's happening with the government, impacting the lives of people around them. Every choice we make when voting is something that can and or will impact us as a society. Being informed on what's happening in the world I live in is a way I think I show support, because by being informed, I can base my decisions on the information that has been given. I may not be able to vote just yet, but in 4 or so years, when I can, I will for sure be voicing my opinion and putting in my vote. With that said, we are celebrating our fallen military and giving them the respect they need and their families they deserve every year without fail. We are showing support and pride for our country during the 4th of July by lighting up the nights, and we vote for our government every year, showing them that we care about what happens to ourselves and others. How can you show support and patriotism for your country?
That was Kaylee Henderson. Again, her speech finishes 3rd in this year's voting for Voice of Democracy speeches, courtesy of VFW Post 2267, and there are 6 judges who judged the competition. Moving on to the 2nd place speech, this is Abigail Jo Wirtz.
Celebrating and showing pride is how I show patriotism and support for our country. Taking a moment to reflect on the hard work and dedication that our soldiers have put into making our country better is just one way they help us. By striving for our nation's success, we provide strength to our country as a whole. There are many ways we can contribute to our nation. As we perform for those who have protected our country, we can give our thanks back by volunteering to provide for our service members and their families. These are little things we can do to support our country. One way I show patriotism is attending and supporting local ceremonies, such as performing at Memorial Day services when I play in band. I always feel more connected to what I'm playing because we get to learn about the background and history of the music. My school has an advantage of hosting a Veterans Day performance every year that allows everyone in our school and the public to attend. I always enjoy listening to others' speeches and captivating stories because it is intriguing. Something that I personally get to experience is Family Day with my dad. Family Day is where soldiers bring their children and spouses with them to see what they do in a day. We get to explore all the tools and machinery they use daily. A key way I show respect to those who have served is doing the Pledge of Allegiance every day at school. It is a simple and effective way to say thank you to those who have made sacrifices and challenging decisions for our nation. During an occasion or an event, the people around me and myself rise for those who have served. This shows tremendous respect to veterans daily. Before a sports game, truck bowl, or patriotic event, the national anthem is played because it is a sign of national pride and shows love and devotion to our country. We dare not forget why we stand for the flag, to show freedom, justice, and pride. Lastly, saying thanks and showing I care provides for our country and veterans. For example, at my house we fly a flag outside every day and keep it from getting dropped, damaged, or destroyed. To favor our country's flag, when we take it down, I fold it into a triangle. The reasoning behind this is because of the cornered hats worn on colonial soldiers during the Revolutionary War in 1775. We have multiple holidays for our country and our veterans. An important holiday that sticks out to me is 4th of July. It is a great way to celebrate our country's independence in our patriotic colors, where we come together and support our country. I've seen many soldiers in uniform that fight for our country every day. If I happen to see a veteran out in public, I thank them for their service. To say thank you on a deeper level, creating cards to hand out or give away is a great way to show I care. I recommend attending a community event or volunteering to help veterans in well-being. I do these simple tasks to make veterans feel appreciated for serving their country. Therefore, these are ways I contribute to our nation and demonstrate our national pride and love for our country. Attending local ceremonies, respecting the flag, and thanking veterans for their service are important ways you can show loyalty to our country. So I ask you, what will you do to carry our flag forward for tomorrow?
Abigail Wirtz with her speech in the Voice of Democracy campaign for this past year. And now the first place speech. Again, it's under the guidance of Sarah Wallace, the teacher at Kickapoo High School, who brought these young women in to record these for WRCO and for our listeners to hear. The first place speech this year was given by Mackenzie M. Schwartz.
How are you showing patriotism and support for our country? When I first learned what patriotism meant, it was when I was younger while with my grandma. We sat at a booth. The smell of hash browns filled the air as I patiently waited for my breakfast to come. A veteran had passed by our booth, and my grandma took the time to stop and thank him for his service. I couldn't comprehend why she would do that at the time, so I asked her. She explained to me how brave the veteran was and the courage he held. It was my first lesson in patriotism. That moment stayed with me. It's when I learned then that patriotism isn't just about big speeches or waving flags. It can be as simple as showing respect and gratitude. Thanking our service members and first responders, hanging a flag in a yard or room are all strong signs of patriotism. Those colors aren't just on a piece of cloth. They represent what we fight for, what I fight for. They become a symbol of unity and strength when we wave them during Memorial Day and Veterans Day, reminding us why those days matter. By respecting those symbols and what they represent, I'm showing pride and love for my country. But showing patriotism goes beyond respect for symbols. It's also about supporting those who serve communities every day. Support is what brings us together as a country. I may not be able to be a firefighter, but my dad is. I've been volunteering in all their fundraisers for as long as I can remember. We have local Labor Day celebrations, and I'm there every year donating my time and help, knowing it's for the right cause. I know it's important to do these things because not everyone does. Through all these experiences, I've come to understand what it means to be a U.S. citizen, to stand up for the country I was born in, to continue to uphold the values that guide my community and country, which is why I volunteer standing proudly next to my dad while he serves our community. All of this makes me realize that every action, big or small, counts. It makes me feel better about our country knowing that even though I may not be able to do much now, my contributions count. Our efforts make a difference. The time I spend, whether it's playing and singing our national anthem to veterans or serving food at a fundraiser for the fire department, is meaningful. No gesture is too small. I will continue to take initiative with finding new ways to show my support, to know what it means to be a good citizen. Teaching these values is what really matters. It's something that it was ingrained into me ever since I've been able to listen. Remembering my grandmother's quiet lesson helps me see that no matter our role, every act of support matters. We all stand in line together, some in uniform, some with aprons, all with a purpose. We can all show our pride and support. I will show my patriotism. I will show my support forever and for our country.
Congratulations to Mackenzie Schwartz and to all of those who were involved in this year's speeches. Voice of Democracy, again, Mackenzie Schwartz, first place, Abigail Wirtz, second, Kaylee Henderson, third, and in the Patriots Pen heard earlier, Victor Kuze was first, Eli Limmick second, and Nolan Hayes was third. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the morning show. And again, a hats off to the students for entering in the Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy, courtesy of VFW Post 2267 locally.